Hello and welcome to the Fixing Football podcast. This is episode 82 and I'm here with Luke Foley and Scott Naylor. Scott, how are you doing?
I am very well. I'm almost on my holidays, so I am fully switched off, stopped doing any work, can't be bothered.
It's close. Christmas in Oz.
I know. It's going to be a very, very strange, weird, roasting hot Christmas, but I'm looking forward to it all the same.
You're going to be getting up to watch footy and stuff because it'll be on at like daft o'clock in the morning. Like, isn't it like 8 o'clock in the morning? It's on.
I don't. If it happens to fall right, then yeah, I'm not going to be. As much as I love the beautiful game, I don't think I'll be breaking off from what could be a once in a lifetime holiday to watch Chelsea versus Shamrock Rovers in the Conference League. But if I can catch something, yeah, I do think whenever I've spoke to Matty over there and he's watched Arsenal, I'm sure it's like 4 or 5 a.m. kickoff, something ridiculous for him.
That must be hard. What an hard life out there. Luke, how are you doing, mate?
I'm all right. Yeah, I'm good. Same as Scott. Can't wait for the Christmas period to start. To be honest,
When do you finish work? Or do you finish work?
Friday for a week.
No, I'm not really off. I'm just off the big days.
Why are you superstar DJing?
Yeah, and just working in radio. You don't really have much time off. So I've got a few holidays to take, but other than that, I'll be DJing and still pretending to man my laptop during the day.
Pays the bills.
Yeah, well, someone's got to. What have you been up to? What's going on?
Yeah, in general or in my athletic career? What?
I don't care. Just asking what you've been up to.
Career or what? Be specific.
What have you been up to?
Nothing much, to be honest, mate. Pretty boring.
Anything athletically?
Yes. So
well, that's something then, isn't it? Well, God, when you make me go around the houses.
Well,
yes, Martin, I've been for a run. Oh, well done.
So I'm training for. I'm hoping to get into the Lancashire team cross country. The trial race is the first weekend of January, so hopefully I'll do well at that. So I'll get a Lancashire vest.
And then what does that entail? The cross country team.
Yeah. So then it's you qualify for the inter-counties race. So it's basically all the counties around the country, all the best runners.
Right.
Cross country sounds a bit like it's quite vague, isn't it? Like how.
Yeah.
What classifies as a cross country run? What's the minimum distance?
It's running in an unspecified location, terrain, and direction.
It's usually just shy of 10k over different terrains, like mine said. So you could be going through rivers and all sorts of shit.
Zebra crossings.
Yeah, in spikes.
Right. So talk some football. Where should we start? I thought today we'll just talk a little bit about the league, where it's at, and do a bit of a mid-season review almost. It's going to be a bit off. We've got our quiz next week, which I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to not talking about football. And do you know what? I'm most excited for Liam's questions. I know he's not here tonight, so he can't give us a teaser, but Liam's question's always my favourite one. So, and I know he goes hard on his, research and setting them up and stuff.
What about my questions? My questions are usually good.
I think you can be a bit off-piste, bit out of the box. We'll go out of your way to try and wreck a perfectly good quiz, but I'm trusting that you've put a lot of prep in. But Liam's questions usually like, what's the word? Like thought-provoking, like deep. He's done a lot of research.
Yeah, it's like that meme that goes around of that guy from Always Sunny, and he's got the board with all the markers on it, and his hair's all fucking gone wild.
Yeah,
been up all night researching weird, obscure shit that no one's ever thought of before.
So yeah, I think it'd be good. And then we can have a bit of a break, busy Christmas period. Everyone's favourite time of year for football, I think. Anyway, is it yours?
I'd say so.
It's class. You know, you finish for work and then it's like on every day. It's not just mint.
That's why I liked. That's why I had a bit of a soft spot for the Qatar World Cup, because it was Christmas. It was off work. It was football every single day over Christmas. It was fucking great. Like as much grief as it got, it still sort of stands as a bit of a stupid idea, but it kind of worked.
Well,
but as a viewing experience, it was pretty good.
We'll be back there in 10 years' time.
Fucking
2034, Saudi Arabia. That's going to be... I think they've said it's going to be a January competition.
Yeah. Well, that's dead then. I guess it might take the... January, you know, it's back to work. It's a bit miserable. Maybe that's the thing that's going to keep the festive spirit going and keep us in a good mood.
Luke, you'd like a company trip out to Saudi, wouldn't you, for the World Cup?
Oh yeah, definitely. 100%. I'll be fully on board for that trip.
You could start running there. How long would it take you to run there? That's proper cross country then.
A bit of swimming involved as well.
Yeah. Right, where should we start? Let's start with everyone's favourite mighty club, the Blues. Scott,
the Chelsea Blues.
Oh, we usually start with Bolton, to get about the way. Liam's
to do that tonight.
Liam's ducked this one pretty swiftly. Another derby loss. So he's off licking his wounds and responding to some allegations that we can't comment on. So we'll move forward. But not a good week again for Bolton. Good weekend for Chelsea though.
Extremely good. I think it was probably the beneficiaries of the entire weekend. I think pretty much everybody, bar Forest in the top half, dropped points. I think, if I'm getting that right. Obviously, United aren't in the top half, are they? Fucking Jesus! I genuinely thought United were in the top half then, and I just remembered that you're not. But yeah, good, very good weekend. We came through a tough test against Brentford, who have beat us the last 3 times at Stamford Bridge. So it was becoming a bit of a bogey fixture. And everyone else dropped the ball. So although everyone's trying to clamour that we're not in a title race, and that seems to be the hot topic, everyone trying to get our manager to confirm that we're in it, I think although we are a bit too early, you can't take the chances that everyone else is giving us.
Be careful. You're in murky territory here.
What, are you insinuating that if I say the wrong combination of words, then I can be accused of putting Chelsea in the title race?
He's 2 weeks away from it being their year.
So true. It's going great guns for the Chelsea Blues. Can't really complain. Massively exceeding expectation thus far. I don't know. No, I don't think Chelsea were in the top. Certainly not in the top 4 for. I think I was the only one who put Chelsea in the top 4, didn't I?
I did.
Or did you as well, Martin?
Yeah.
Fair.
It was interesting one that because Brentford have been like the Gattuso meme, sometimes good, sometimes shit. They've got like the best home record in the league and the joint worst away record. So yeah, it was. I think there was always going to be goals in it, but I don't know. I sort of always saw Chelsea getting that one. I know you talked about the history. What do you make of Maresca sort of downplaying this title race that you seem to be slowly creeping towards?
Kind of get it, and I think where he's coming from. I think there's a little bit of.
Is he just managing?
There's a little bit of. Somewhat, yeah. And I think he's trying to protect his players as well, because I think the reason that everybody wants our captain and our manager and every Chelsea fan and pundit to sort of claim that we are, is so that when we don't win it, which I don't think that we will, it can be rubbed in our faces. You fucking bottled it. You're in the race and you lost it. But so I make of it that he's just basically trying to just keep the pressure off the players. But the more they win, weirdly, the more pressure is being applied on them to win it. And I think, like I alluded to, I think while I agree with his assessment that we're probably a bit short and a bit like it's somewhat similar to what Arsenal did can't remember, maybe it might have been 2 years ago now, when you came you were sixth one year and you just came second randomly, I think it was, or might have been fifth to second.
Yeah.
It was very similar thing in that it kind of came out of nowhere. You kind of benefited from Chelsea being poor, United being poor, and whoever else it was at the time. And it just sort of fell into place, and now you're up there as a contender. I think maybe we're having the same sort of thing. So I think that's all he's doing. But I'm also of the opinion that when a City going to give other teams as much of a chance as they are doing now, and will Arsenal not capitalise again next year? So this might be the year to just fucking go hell for leather and just go for it. And I also think he's probably lying if he's not at the very least thinking about it a little bit. You've got to be thinking about it. When a win on Sunday takes us top, and getting very close to Christmas.
Who have you got on Sunday?
Everton away, which is a horrible, horrible fixture.
Yeah. We've got Crystal Palace away. Oh, you mentioned it, so we'll speak about Arsenal. Those are like a viral tweet going around, but like this weekend, Liverpool, Arsenal, City, Aston Villa, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, Juventus, Inter Milan all didn't win. like a crazy amount of teams.
Where did Aston Villa creep into that list?
I know. Well,
all the European giants and Villa.
No.
Villa are a big team, to be fair. No discredit to Villa.
They're in Europe. In the top
and they've won a
five.
European Cup as well.
In your
They have
lifetime,
won European Cup.
Or your granddad's lifetime? Which one of them?
Facts are facts.
I'm just, that was, then I had a follow-up question was, in your lifetime, you ever seen Aston Villa win a trophy, or like you're talking about someone who is familiar with black and white TV's lifetime?
I've never seen it, Martin.
Well, no, me neither. That's fine then. Let's move on. I like to have conversation, not just throw out random quirky jibes. It's what you're good at. Let's talk about Arsenal for a second. Because it was poo again.
It's really, it was from what I saw, it was a really bad performance. I mean, Everton, I think, played very well.
No.
But, again, a bit toothless.
Toothless is right. But I've been saying this for ages about how reliant we are on the right-hand side, and like all our attack is based on the right-hand side. Our left is just so dross and dire, and we give Martinelli or Trossard, and we've got Sterling just warming the bench for no reason as well. We just can't seem to get anything going and split our attack, so we become predictable and easy to defend against. You get any loss we've had, I wouldn't say we've had a really bad performance this season. There's not one that stands out. Now, whether we've come away with losses or draws when we should have won, that's different, but we've absolutely dominated possession. We're just not scoring. But it's not even not scoring, it's creating real goal-scoring opportunities. I think we have 1 or 2 in this game. Like the stats may say we've got 7 or 8 shots on target, but really it was 1 or 2.
Yeah.
It's becoming hard. It's like you start to think how good we are defensively is just creeping. We look great defensively, solid. I'm never worried when we're being attacked on anymore, which is like a reassuring place to be. But we just look clueless and out of ideas, because it's like, well, we do exactly what we're told, and the instruction from the defence is just seeping into our attacking players. And if it doesn't go through Odegaard or Saka, nothing happens. Yeah,
that was going to be my question. Like, what do you think has changed? Because I think the last season and the season before, you had a lot of zip in your play. Like, it was direct, it was quick, you were dangerous, you were scoring a lot of goals, and I don't really know what's changed. And I don't know if you've been able to like pinpoint it from an Arsenal fan perspective. Is it a tactical change? Do you think there's certain people playing differently than they were last year? Has anyone dropped off? Like, what's caused this sort of bluntness? Because it's just weird.
I think our left side is a big problem. I mean, it doesn't help not having our one natural out-and-out goal scorer couldn't hit a bandor to save his life at the moment. And then we're stuck with Havertz, who I do rate as a very good player. he isn't an out and out striker or someone who you can rely on week in, week out. He's absolutely ran his arse off, Havertz, and I can't knock him for not being a 20 to 30 goal season striker, because no one ever thought that's what he was. So we're lacking a real number 9 or a threat up front, and then the left side, we're totally lopsided, and things just fall apart with Martinelli. He seems to have lost a bit of confidence, and Trossard has been played in every position under the sun and never seems to put a run of 2 or 3 games together where he starts. So I don't know. It's just a little lack of freedom in the final third from players other than Saka and Ødegaard, and it's like if it doesn't go through them, nothing happens. We saw how much we struggled with Ødegaard out for 8 games or whatever it was. We was, luckily we're still in some sort of a race.
My last question on this, you mentioned his name, and it just sparks a question. I think I asked this last night. I don't know if you actually saw it in the old WhatsApp group. So for the benefit of the listeners, I've noticed that when Arsenal are kind of chasing a game, it's 0-0 or you're drawing or maybe you're down, he brings Ødegaard off a lot in those situations, in those games when you need a goal. I've noticed he seems to do it fairly regularly. Brings who's supposed to be like your most creative outlet off. And I know he brought Rice off at the same time. So he said that Rice was. I heard him after the game. He said Rice he felt something in his hamstring or something. He said Ødegaard was just his decision. I just find it a really odd person to bring off when you need a goal. I don't know if you've noticed that the same, but I just think it's a really bizarre decision.
When you say always, I think that's just. It's like recency bias. He's only been doing that sort of since he's come back from injury, not really so much previously to that. So my thoughts are Ødegaard still isn't 100% coming off that ankle injury. So if there's any sort of tiredness appearing or things are getting tight or something like that, maybe it's just it's an easy one to change. Plus it's an attacking move, so you can change things up a little bit. I also think that we dominate possession so much, and you've seen us, we're in that final third, or basically on the edge of the final third for the majority of the match, just left and right, up and down, getting it into the corner, back again, whatever. That's where we are for the majority of the match, between the halfway line and the middle of the opponent's half. And that becomes crowded after a while. You get your centre-backs are playing where you think Ødegaard's going to be. And we've got 3 midfielders in there, and with them we've got a front line as well. So I think for a number 10, when you are pushing and you're pressing, someone like a De Bruyne, who is a similar position or player, would drop real deep, and you'd see De Bruyne going out to like left back and pinging balls from a totally different position. Where I don't think Ødegaard's quite got that game in his locker. You more see him running off the striker as a second striker almost. So I think that's my analysis, is a space issue. Saying that, I still think he's our most creative and best player, and he should be staying on the pitch unless he's 100% not 100% fit. So those are my 2 arguments. The one thing that has been going around is the AFTV lot have been able to get back into action.
Your mates.
A few poor performances. I mean, I feel like every other club's fans watch these guys more than Arsenal fans. Oh
God, yeah. I think it was one of those, wasn't it? It was hilarious just to see them all melt down every week when you were really, really bad. It was just good, entertaining TV. Were you a AFTV, Arsenal Fan TV fan, Luke? Were you a watcher?
No, I don't watch any of that rubbish.
That's funny, because you share a lot of the clips from AT. You seem to know a lot about it in the WhatsApp group.
Only from what Scott and Liam post.
Second-hand AFTV knowledge now.
Yeah. That's not for me, that kind of nonsense. I'm not going to ask what them idiots say, to be honest.
What do you think about that, though? But, like, I know you're not interested, but it does become news almost what these people from fan channels say, us technically sort of being one of them, although I like to think of us more as football commentators than fan pundits.
I think it puts. Well, I think it puts clubs in a bit of a joke state. I can't get behind it at all, to be honest. Like United was prime example with all the memes and all that kind of rubbish that came out. What's his name? Liam's favourite.
Mark Goldbridge.
Goldbridge. Yeah, look, good on them to what they do, but sometimes it's just they overplay the personality, and it makes a mockery of the club sometimes. That's how I personally feel of it.
That's been the thing. You won't see. There's loads of Arsenal fans. The Arsenal fan TV isn't for them. AFTV, however you want to call it. And I do. I like the idea of AFTV. Like there's so many people who do this, what we're doing, and who are involved in some sort of football media because of AFTV, because of what it's done for just regular people being able to speak about football, and what Robbie's done, the main guy with the channel and the company as it is now is ridiculous. They're massive. That you see them on, people from it, characters, if you will, from it, are on Sky Sports and Talk Sport. Same with the United lot, the Redmen TV lot. They're the people who it seems that fans want to listen to, as well as Premier League football. As the United lot are crazy all over social media now. Chelsea one's the same, right, Scott?
Yeah. Rory Jennings is our most famous in the Chelsea fan pundit world, if whatever you want to call it. And he's made it onto TalkSport now, and he's got a regular. I think he's on there quite a lot now. I think he's got a regular slot on Drive, I think, or one of them. And I think the problem it creates, and to Luke's point about it making a bit of a fart, makes the club a bit of a farce. And I think the reason for that is they always seem to thrive when the club in question is at its worst. So AFTV became massive when Arsenal was shocking.
Yeah.
Rory Jennings has kind of made a name on basically on the back of the Abramovich, the sale of Chelsea when Abramovich got the sanction, and the mess that threw Chelsea into. He sort of thrived and grew his brand just from speaking on how he's like a full Clear Lake out kind of guy, and it's not like it was under Rome. And if it was up to him, we'd have a midfield three of like Rice, Mount, and Gallagher. This is like his dream, and he fucking breathed his pants over it.
Same with Goldbridge. You won't be anywhere without the rants and the clips on YouTube and wherever.
Yeah. And the reason I think that's such a big problem is because they then become the face of the club to the casual social media going fan. If you log on to Twitter, to start a Twitter account and just follow Chelsea or Man United or whoever, the first people you're going to see are Rory Jennings, Mark Goldbridge, Troops, and all these other clowns who basically seem to make. I'm not saying that they're not real fans of the clubs. I mean, for some people, for some of them, it might be a debate, but I'm not doubting that they go and follow the team every week. It's not about that. It's just their view then becomes, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like you get a negative Chelsea Clear Lake out view, and because he is the face of online Chelsea fandom, he's the one who gets invited on the overlap to talk to Gary Neville. He's the one who gets to Sky Sport. And it's not reflective of what most of the fans think. I'm sure he's speaking for some segments of fans, but there's a lot of people. I don't know anyone who listens to Rory Jennings and goes, "Yeah, sound." We all agree with that. Like, not one Chelsea fan I've ever met agrees with him. He just talks shit for engagement. And that's why I think it's a problem.
It'll be the odd comment. I do think Rory Jennings he's good at this. He's good at talking about football. He's good at the way he speaks. Like, whether you don't like what he says, that's totally different. In the same way how I feel about Robbie from AFTV, I like what he's done and the channel and the brand and the perception of the voice of the fans that he's given, when really he's just created 6 or 7 reoccurring characters who are just memes of actual human beings, and they go quiet for a bit, and then Arsenal start drawing. It's not like we've been battered by Fulham at home. We absolutely battered Everton for 90 minutes. We had 82% possession. We absolutely battered them. They had no shots. Not off target, not on target, nothing. They didn't get anywhere close to our goal. We were just limp in front of goal. But it was not worth people going on AFTV and threatening to shoot players because they were like, you need to grow up. Like, I'm caught into my minds about it.
Like, it's the extremeness of you have to have such a polar opinion for it to gain traction. I think that is, and that's not these pundits or these guys' fault. It's the fault of society. That's what gets the engagement. That's what, if Rory Jennings didn't have such an extreme, everything's in crisis, everything's horrible outlook, he wouldn't get anywhere. There's no room for, there's no money in the balanced view, unfortunately. And it's, you then make, like you said, you used the right word. These people then have to become caricatures and not actual, probably don't believe everything that they say, but they know that now that this is what's paying the bills, they've got to keep it going.
I think TalkSport's the same boat. I think it was the original. They was the original guys, weren't they?
Adrian Durham could keep someone on the line. He could keep someone on a £1.50 a minute call for about 2 hours if he wanted to. Just some guy on the way home from work, and he would have them hook, line, and sinker. All he had to do was mention Arsenal, and he'd have the phone lines going crazy. Like, yeah, you're right, and look who TalkSport are employing now.
Yeah,
YouTube memes. Same with Sky Sports. They're doing the same because that's who consumes all the content. So, anyway,
the three guys we've just talked about, they all work for TalkSport now, don't they? In some form.
Yeah. Let's.
Mine.
So,
whoa.
Yeah.
Before you move on from Arsenal.
No, I was just going to say, if anyone want to finish up with Arsenal.
Before you move on from Arsenal, I'm not going to go too deep. I know I said I would, but I'm not. But I want to run something past you. Do you think Arsenal are on the downward trajectory from the wave? So I think you've had your chance last 2 seasons to actually get this title. I just don't see it. I don't see, like what you've just been saying. I can't see you getting on the line this season. I think you're probably on a downward trajectory, and you probably need to change some sort of way of playing or buy new players. Now, does Arteta go after the cup? So you've got the League Cup midweek.
Yeah.
Do you go down that route and just win a cup, or because I'm not seeing it?
I think winning a cup is vital. Winning a cup at the expense of going for the Premier League, no. It's just got to be a byproduct of going to win everything and doing everything. So, concentrating on the League Cup should not be a priority. Although, if we come away from the season with second in a League Cup, I won't be unhappy. I'll be a little bit disappointed, but I won't be sad about the season.
Do you agree on? Well, you might not agree, but do you agree on the peak?
With that we've already peaked with this team? No, because of the general age and the setup of the squad. Still, we're still one of the young. It feels like these players have been, when you've had a similar-ish squad for 3 seasons in a row, you start to think these players are older than what they are. But we're still one of the youngest teams in the league. I do think there needs to be some adjustments. And you can see in the summer, our 2 main targets in the summer were Nico Williams and Benjamin Sesko, which we didn't end up getting. And they signed new contracts in their own right. But it was clear that an attacker was needed. We ended up with fucking Raheem Sterling, which, with all the best intentions, has not proved successful yet. I'm hoping he has a good FA Cup run at some point. But, even so, I don't think this team's peak, Luke. I think there's more to come. I don't think Saka leaves Arsenal without a couple of league titles. The same with Ødegaard. I just think the core of the team is too big and good. The core of the team is, a goalkeeper who's 27, who's arguably the best in the league. He's in the conversation. The 2 centre-backs are the best in Europe. A midfield of Rice and Ødegaard, plus one of whoever else you want to put with them, and Bukayo Saka. is a bigger core and nucleus that you can still build around for the next 10 years. So no, I'm happy with where we are. I'm a bit frustrated at the stuttering, and I don't agree, but I hope that answers your question.
It's got to be though, especially when you see if someone has said to you by mid-December, City are going to be fifth, but you didn't know where Arsenal were. You must have been like,
The most
now seeing where
frustrating,
you're at. That's the hardest part about.
it is hard, and the most frustrating about it as well is City have been on this run, and we'll talk about it in a little bit, and we've only managed to get 2 points over them. I think we started the run about 3 points behind them, but in this absolutely shite period that they're going through, we're only 3 points in front of them, or 2 now, which is mental. Like I said, and I put a tweet out the other day. I just think after that game, I was a little bit annoyed. The game against Everton, but I think if City could still win the league by putting a run together, and at the moment,
which they will. They will do. They've done it every season. It like gets after Christmas and they just steamroll.
I mean, it's good saying that, but everyone also said they will win the league, and there's no one's ever seen this from Man City. It's unprecedented what we're seeing right now. So we'll get onto them anyway. But yes, it is annoying that City are where they are, despite being on the shittest run of form. I'm talking about in comparison to us. And Chelsea, where they are. If they'd told me this at the beginning of the season, it's like, it's so annoying. But
yeah,
my prediction that we will win the league is fading. My hope is still remains strong, Luke.
No.
Can I ask one final question? One final of the Arsenal question before we move on.
It's nice to talk.
So, if it's looking likely that you're not going to win the league this year, I mean, I think any of the, 4 of the top 5 could win the league. Nottingham Forest won't be in there by the time the end of the season comes. But if you do fail again to win the league this year, do you think there has to then be some fairly serious questions about Mikel Arteta? And if he's the guy, has he then maybe taken you as far as you can go? And is he the manager before the manager? Or is he, what do you think on that? I think in a season, in his fifth full season now, 5.5 years he's been there now, hasn't he? Something like that. It's going to be his 5th full season now, I think, or his 4th full season.
4th, yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of investment. City have basically thrown the towel in, and he doesn't do it. My thinking is this has got to be the year, and if he doesn't, I, as an Arsenal fan and maybe as an Arsenal board member, I've got to be looking at it thinking, how many more years does this guy need, and how much more money does he need?
Maybe that's a conversation. My only caveat to that would be that the whole squad and club is built in this image now, and who do you go and get, and who to build on this, not someone to come in and rip it apart and start again, because that's another, as we've seen and as we spoke about the Ten Hag project and the projects of other clubs before that, and whatever else you want to put it, they are clubs built in the image of one man with the support of the board, and that just takes time. So
can I remind you of a situation then?
Please.
This situation sounds very similar to what Scott was suggesting. Remember Brendan Rodgers? He came second, and he was the man that came after it. What happened there?
Yeah, Klopp came in, and 4 years later, he won a league. I mean, that's not what we're talking about. Liverpool, Klopp completely rebuilt Liverpool again from what Brendan Rodgers' team was before he won the league.
So you don't think you need a rebuild? Not
a complete rebuild, no. I honestly think we need a striker, and a little bit of freedom up front, a little bit of like, just go, a little bit of something. It might not even be a striker. It might be a left winger. It might be someone to come in and totally revamp the left hand side. I don't know. I don't know who that plays out there.
Yeah, because my thinking is on it. Like last year, we did really well, but it was City, and the year before that it was we did really well, we got close, but City are above us. What can you do? That was kind of the the narrative that was I'm not saying this just from you, but even other neutral pundits said, "Oh, well, you're going up against Man City. You know, it's really hard to do that." It's like, well, that isn't there this year, or seemingly isn't there this year. If they carry on the flow they're going on, and we'll talk about them in a minute, but it's then that was the one sort of not excuse. Yeah, I'm going to use the word. That was kind of the excuse that you had, and it was a fairly valid one. And now that ain't there, so it's like then where do you then look? Then you can't blame it on City anymore.
Yeah.
Where is it? And he's got to take it on his shoulders, hasn't he? He'd take all the plaudits if he won it. So he's got to. I'm not saying he doesn't, but I think he has to bear some responsibility and bear some consequences.
From what we've seen from Arteta, I think he will be asking them questions of himself as much as people would be asking the question. I'm not saying he would walk away if we don't win the league this year. I buy into his conviction that the club is on the right path, and I still feel like that when I watch it. We might have some frustrating games. I said at the beginning of the season, if we don't win it this season, it's still got to be a good showing. We've still got to be on the right path, which we are. The dip has come in. It's a weird year this year. It just seems to be. No one expected the league table to look like this at this point of the year.
That is true. That is true.
With the exception of Southampton, I don't think anyone is where you would have put them in the league at the moment. So there's still a long way to go. We're nearly midway. If you would have given me, this position at the beginning of the season, you say you're still going to be well in it until the end of the season, which I think we will be, then I'm sure most people would take that. So, I still buy into Arteta's conviction. He hasn't given me any reason to doubt him. It's just from what you see on the pitch, he's becoming a little bit stiff, a little bit one-dimensional. Set pieces aside. Set pieces aside, I'm talking about on the pitch, Luke. So let's have a super quick break, and then we'll speak about the Red Devils. The city is back to being red. And we're back, and the city of Manchester is red again. Luke Foley.
It is red, yes.
After the last 10 years of complete and utter dominance by Man City, one win at the Etihad means that the city has returned to being red.
Hold on. We was FA Cup winners against City.
Oh, you're right.
You were.
Totally.
Credit where it's due.
Totally wipes out that 4 in a row, including a treble.
Which is the reason we're playing in fucking on the Chinese border every Thursday. Fucking bullshit.
Oh, it'd be good. You know what we should do? Like, if one of the quiz questions next week was like about that, it'd be
Chelsea's great European tour.
Something like that. I don't want to give anything away, but might be a fun segment. Let's Luke, talk to me about that. About Manchester United derby.
Yeah, well,
just overall feelings after the match.
I was really happy, to be honest. The only, I suppose, the dampener, what kind of dampened my mood was kind of listening to the commentary and some of the comments. Like Neville and a few of them were saying it was a woeful match, the worst Manchester derby they've seen in a while, and both teams are terrible and were both dog shit. I don't agree with that. I'm not saying United. I'm not saying United played outstanding.
Yeah,
but it was very a smash and grab.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I do think you're probably right. This is a game where you historically would expect fireworks, and we got them at the end, but a bit of something. When actually it's been quite dominant from City the last 5-6 years. Yeah. And this one, in terms of quality, I do agree. I think it was Neville who said that on the CoCom, that it was the poorest in terms of quality, and I sort of agree with that. And in saying that, though, you've got to look at where both teams are. City on the worst run since fucking time began, it seems like, and United have been in a mess. Amarim's not got off to the the best start, but you can sort of see the wheels turning, like he's trying to work stuff out. And it's almost like the first couple of months he's gone, I'll just take a free hit. I'll play him, I'll not play him, I'll do this, I'll do that. I'm just gonna see everyone. I'm only getting a day at a time if I've got another match. So I'm just gonna have to work people out on the pitch. So he's almost taking free hits in the start that he's had. On saying that, I thought United did well. They played most of the match the same way the sort of first 30 minutes against Arsenal, when you sort of kept your shape really well and you kept hold of the ball for the longest time, as long as I'd seen you most of the season anyway. I thought United did pretty well.
You know what it felt like? It felt like when teams play United, the lower teams.
Yeah.
Like they've come and they thought, right, we can have a go here. We might get some chances. And it does seem like City just fell apart. It was really, really poor from them. I tell you what, Kyle Walker, I don't know what's happened to him.
Before we get onto United's winner and their sort of standouts, what did you think of City watching it? Because while I thought United were okay, I still thought that City deserved that 1-0 win. On the looking back at the game, while I think it's a great win for Man United, City probably deserved that 1-0. I think they were just about the better team.
I disagree. I suppose I'm biased, but I thought it was very even. Like, even if you look at all the stats,
yeah,
very
two
even.
sides of the same coin here. You could look at it a little bit either way. I'm not saying City didn't blow anyone away,
but I do think City deserved to score. Yeah, I agree with that. I think it was one of them moments where either one was going to get a goal and City just came through. But yeah, City, I think they just really, really. I tell you what the problem is, probably Haaland. Maguire had a great game against him. He kept him quiet, and Haaland's been invisible last few games for City.
Since he advised someone to stay humble, he's been pretty quiet. It's just a shame he managed to get about 28 league goals before that point, so he's still I think he's still top scorer
now. Yeah.
City just look. What is it about City? Is it me, or have they all got ridiculously slower, like over the summer? Like something's just happened and they've all fell off a cliff at the same time.
I wonder what that could be. I have a theory. one that I'm probably not legally allowed to say, but I have a theory as to what's happening at Man City.
But you think it could be the end of the cycle of Man City's team?
I think it is the end of a cycle. I think it is. I think that's exactly what it is. Very, very apt description. I think Luke made a point before about City, and it was about this, how they always go on a run after Christmas. And historically, that has pretty much almost always happened.
Yeah.
I do think that eventually, these things that always happen, at one point they do stop happening. There always is a point where, the worm turns and trends stop. There's always a book in it. And I think this feels different to the usual. City have been not as dominant as usual. This feels I've never seen City this bad before. I've seen them drop a few games here and there, but there's always like, let's say they'd lose one game, but then they'd win the next two, then maybe draw, then maybe win, then lose, and so on. But this is the sort of run that most managers get sacked for. If Enzo Maresca did this, he'd be out the door. Pepper's obviously got.
Luke, earlier on in the season, you said that Arsenal would win the league this year, and you think that the charges. No, I'm saying, but the reason you said that was because you think the charges would play on City's mind when it came to it, and it all seems to have played out just the way you're saying, apart from the Arsenal bit. Yeah, but the dip in form has come at a really suspect time. Is it a factor? Because on that front, from the outside, all that stuff seems pretty quiet right now. So, is there more to this than meets the eye? Is this more to an aging squad and fitness and, maybe a poor transfer market or two? Is there more to it?
I'm not having. There's not been rumblings inside the club of what potentially could happen. I said, like I said to you, this will be an overhanging dark cloud over the club until it's sorted, and it has to affect performances. And I think losing Rodri is massive. Like for them, like it's there. In all honesty, he's the key man for City, and it's really showing. Like they can't replace him. I guess I think it happened when Fernandinho got injured as well. He had a bit of a dodgy run when he was the main man in that position. But yeah, the charges. I still think. Well, Pep. He's in an ultra weirdo mode at the moment.
He's in a different dimension him now, and he's walking around Manchester, his head in the clothes, like it's just off his tits.
What a weird thing though to offer him the contract though. That's
the contract thing's weird because you think that would maybe it was an attempt to flip the story a little bit, in in terms that things might be on the up behind the scenes, like things might be a little bit more positive than we hear.
Yeah,
I just think that might have been an attempt to do that.
But does anyone know when the results are going to? Is it in the new year?
Yeah,
the hearing's done, isn't it?
January, early Feb. The hearing and everything's done, and I think we only get the actual findings and the judgment. Mid to late January is what we've been told.
You just think though, like the media would be covering it a bit more. It just seems to be, like you said, a bit quiet. Not really many.
Well, they
this
can't.
form has happened and they're just not mentioning it at all.
There isn't, because it's not that sort of trial. There is no media. It's been placed in random locations by the Premier League all over, so they're not, they don't all stay in one place, and the lawyers aren't in one hotel and stuff like that. So it's all very hush hush by the Premier League. I don't know if that's on purpose or this is just the way these sort of things are dealt with. I don't know. We've never seen anything like this, I guess.
Yeah, I do think that could be a factor.
Let's talk about Manchester United then.
Yes.
Right. What was apart from the goal at the end, which, I don't often celebrate other teams' goals, but when you see something like that going, I actually got up off the bed. I was like, oh my God. What was your favourite bit of the win, other than the goal at the end?
Well, it is linked to the goal. I think Diallo, he clearly was the one player that wanted to win that game. He was the shining light. Now, previously, I did say I don't really rate Diallo,
but I've changed my mind.
I'm still in that mindset. I don't think moving forward, he'd be the perfect player for United.
Yeah,
but he's showing heart and he's showing his willingness, and that's what you need. And it's really like showing the other kind of forward players that was left out. This is what you should be playing like.
I think Diallo and Mazraoui, who I'd probably say were the best two for United on the day, are the two players who play like they are unburdened by Manchester United in its recent history.
Yeah,
they play like they don't care about the ownership stuff and what's fucking Ronaldo said about the training ground and what Marcus Rashford does with his spare time. They don't play like that. They don't have that. Maybe it's because they're newer in the dressing room. I mean, this is only Diallo. I feel like he's been around for a long time. He's
been on loan. He's been Rangers, Sunderland.
Yeah, it was big money as well when he came in, wasn't it?
20 odd.
Yeah, must have. So, but yeah, I agree. He was fantastic, and his goal and the way he won the penalty was just brilliant.
Yeah, he was a joy to watch, to be honest, and that's what you want, a bit of passion, a bit of that. That's what has been lacking at United for a long time. And I know Bruno shows passion in a different way, but that sometimes slinging your arms around and moaning is not the right way. That's how you should do it. Go out and win games.
So, what have you made of Ruben Amorim then?
He's got a lot of work to do.
I think he knows that, doesn't he? I think he
Yeah.
come across like he knows that.
Yeah, he's got. If he wants to play this system, and I know you asked me in the group not long ago, who would you keep, and I said none of them. I think he potentially he's kind of thinking there is a big kind of change that needs to happen in this club, and a lot of players that are just stinking out of the place, and I think that will happen.
We saw that with, well, I believe there is things off the field that affected this decision. Not that anyone's coming out and saying anything right now, but the dropping of Garnacho and Marcus Rashford out of the squad completely for the weekend. First of all, what were your thoughts when you saw that? Because I have two sort of things about it. But what were your thoughts when you first sort of saw the squad?
Good. I thought, especially with the whole. I know. I did say in a previous podcast that I want players from the area to play for the club.
That's way previous, that.
Yeah.
Any of the OG listeners will be picking up on that.
I think Rashford is putting that dark cloud on the club, and it seems to be when we play bad, he's the scapegoat, and it's fair in a way because he is one of the highest paid, and he has performed well. So there's potentially a player in there, but the way how he plays in the last 2 seasons, mope around, the opposite to what Diallo played yesterday, it's not good enough. And on this, yes, I don't care what the players are doing in their spare time, but it's not helping what he's doing. It's one of them. I think
when you're winning, you can get away with a lot more.
Yeah, for Rashford's case, I think it's the option is just best to leave as in January.
I had two sort of feelings about it. One, I thought the fact that either of them are not in the squad means that something's gone on, and it seems like that's going to be the case. By the time this podcast goes out, maybe we'll know a bit more. My other thing is that in this formation and system that Amorim wants, them two players really, really don't work.
Yeah.
It's really hard for an out-and-out sort of left winger or right winger to get a feel in a 3-4-3 in the way he's set up to get the best out of him. I mean, that's why I've seen Rashford down the middle instead of Højlund for the last couple of games.
You need an old Luke Foley on the wing.
You need a young Luke Foley. The one that
a young Luke Foley on the wing.
Current Luke Foley's no help to no one.
Yeah, a young one.
It's an odd position that, and there's going to be a lot of players who are, a bit typecast into the 4-3-3 or the like more of a 4-4-2, or you're a winger. This one, it all works differently, and you got like wing backs and centre backs who are sweeping and stuff like that. So it's his job to get his message across and make people play how he wants them to play, or they've got to leave. So maybe it's just a good timing. In the same way, sometimes people are the perfect scapegoat at the right time. We had it with Aubameyang when Arteta came in. He needed someone. Yep, he's our best player, our captain, whatever. But he wasn't doing well. He was on the most money, and he weren't pulling his weight. And it was the perfect timing. Oh my God, he's got rid of his best player. Like, there'll be a big thing still when Rashford goes, oh my God, he's got rid of Marcus Rashford. What happened? Stuff like that. But sometimes you just got to go, fuck it, the manager's the guy.
Yeah. And that would make him the guy, wouldn't it? It probably put a stamp on his club if he got rid of Rashford.
Yeah, it's the perfect. It is and Garnacho as well. It might just be another sacrificial lamb in the fact of, it's part power play from the new manager to say, and I'm number one around here, and it's part you don't fucking work in the system anyway. So why am I keeping him around?
Yeah, we have seen this story play out before at Man United, though, haven't we? And it didn't. It happened with Ten Hag and Ronaldo, and I think whilst I am the first person to say that Marcus Rashford has been absolutely woeful and United should have cashed in ages ago, we have seen this happen before where the new Man United manager has come in and planted his flag against whoever that marquee player is, and at the time it was Ronaldo, and it didn't quite work out. Ronaldo was pretty much proven correct in everything that he said after that happened. So while I do agree, I think Amorim shouldn't. I mean, and but some similar reasons why Ten Hag got rid of Ronaldo. Didn't fit the system, doesn't do what I want him to do. This, that, and the other. Albeit Ronaldo just come off the back of a 18 goal season at 37 years old or whatever it was. So I think that was a slightly misguided piece of judgment. But he's got to be careful, Amorim. As much as I think Rashford has been way off the pace and does not deserve to play for Man United, he's got to be careful because Rashford is a big name, and he carries a lot. For better or worse, he carries a lot of cachet. And if you don't want to, it can backfire, stuff like this. So I think he's got to be careful. But this will be the test of if he's the right guy for Man United. Because if he's got the bottle, he'll come through it and he'll be fine. But yeah, I do agree. I think all that needs to be done.
And to that point as well, I've heard rumblings that we are on the limit on PSR as well. So
over the limit at the moment. Yeah, I think it'll be I think one of them goes in January, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it's just we're in a good. Well, it's not a good situation, but it's kind of put the perfect storm to do it, to pull the trigger.
The thing with Rashford as well, he's on such big wages that cutting your losses, you don't have to. Garnacho, you might hang around for a fee, or think he might be the one who you keep around and maybe try and mould. But even so, I
don't know what you do with Rashford.
Rashford, you cut your losses and take whatever money you can for him and get them wages off the books.
He's got to have a good 3-4 years left. He must have. I don't know how long his deal was. It's just it'd be massive. It'd have to be massive money for it to even make any sense. And I just don't know who's paying it, because the only teams who can realistically afford him are Premier League clubs or Saudi Arabia or PSG.
You've got to cut your losses.
He can, but he doesn't have to leave. Either he's on 375 grand, or he doesn't have to take a pay cut.
You don't want to. Go in. We're not going to stand in your way. We're going to tear your contract up because you're being a shithouse.
He can't. He can't do that. It doesn't happen.
Find someone. In the end, we terminated Aubameyang's contract, so there'd be no transfer fee when he went to Barcelona. He was on 350 grand a week. He just signed a new deal.
I imagine that was at great expense to the club.
Ridiculous,
and probably wasn't a great financial move. And if you're already on the borderline, I don't know. I just don't think it's that easy to just rip up the contracts. I just don't think that, because otherwise you'd see it happen more often. We'd have done it. Think of how many players we could have got rid of.
If
that was an option.
You facilitate a move, don't you? This is where the club's agents get involved and keep that circling. I'm sure Rashford's agents won't be short of a few offers.
I think he's got a year left as well, so it's close.
Oh, is it? Is it only a year? Oh, in that case, then you're a bit better off. I thought he had longer.
Even so, this might be a good opportunity for Amorim. Right. Anyway, Luke, I thought it was a good win. Well, I don't really like Man United winning. I like Man City losing more right now.
Is there any sympathy to City at all?
No,
not for me.
No, fuck
I think he's deserved this.
It's not even, the charges aside, that'll come when it comes. If they are guilty, I don't like to jump on it. The fact that they're guilty until proven innocent. While it is fun to take the piss out of City fans with sometimes, but realistically, no. I am more happy because they've been so dominant and so good for so long that the fact that they're losing is like, haha, fuck them.
Yeah.
When Chelsea had that stink of the season a few years ago, and
we saw it with United, didn't we? United fell from grace, still not gone back. Liverpool did it. Anyone who has a sustained period at the top, they always fall off eventually. It's just how far do you fall and what's the rebuild? Like happened to Arsenal, it's happened to everybody. Yep. And one thing that I think it is doing though is exposing Pep Guardiola a bit, because it's quite clear now. I think the allegation against Pep Guardiola, despite how good he's been and how much he's achieved, has always been he's only ever done it with the likes of a Barca with Leo Messi, or a Bayern Munich, or now Man City. it's kind of proving right that he clearly can't hack the pressure. Like you said, Luke, he's gone ultra weirdo mode since this whole slump has happened. And he clearly doesn't know. Like tactically, it's weird to say, but Pep Guardiola looks tactically lost for ideas. He doesn't look like he's got a fucking clue what he's doing. And we've never, for all we've been able to say about Pep, we've never been able to say that.
Yeah.
And it's clear that he does not know how to handle this kind of adversity, like the losing kind. He doesn't really, the pressure's clearly getting to him. And by most standards, it's not even that much pressure.
Did you see his interview after Rico Lewis got sent off last week?
Yeah, another weird fucking.
Yes, Rico. Yes, Rico. Yes, Rico. What does that mean? We don't know this person. Only you know this person. Referee's not going to send him off because you know Rico Lewis, Pep. Idiot.
Yeah, he's getting properly exposed. Properly exposed for being someone who clearly doesn't know how to hack it when his team's up against it. Because his teams are never up against it. He's never had to do it before.
Yeah. They've lost titles. You know, he's not won the league every season where he's been, but more often than not he does. And this is the worst run of form he's ever been through in his whole career. So, time will tell. There's a lot going on. I'm hoping that, you know, in my heart of hearts, the charges are proven true, and it's just the icing on the cake for an absolutely. Anyway, technical difficulties there, but Man City, Diabolical Football Club, yada yada. Listen, before we leave for Christmas, I wanted to come up with a few fixes for anything that you can think of for any football clubs, because the next time we speak, the January transfer window will be wide open and people will be able to get cracking. So, is there anything for anyone that you think people need? And I'll start with this because it's pretty fucking obvious. But yeah, any transfers? Anything you think people need to do? Just any fixes we can get off our chest before last 2024. Arsenal need a striker or a left winger. We need a good, new, fresh attacker. I don't care who it is. I just want it to be a reputable name. Isak, Gyökeres, fucking someone. I don't care. Just someone. I don't care what people's opinion are of these people. They need to be a striker and they need to be ready to hit the ground running. And I don't care how much we pay. I just think we need to go for it.
Well, rumour has it, Martin, there is a certain Manchester-born winger striker who may come on the market in the very near future.
Right. Not anybody then. Let me rephrase this question. Theo Rashford best not be pulling up at the Emirates anytime soon.
It's happening again. Oh my god.
No. If Rashford won us the league, though, it would heal a few Van Persie shaped wounds that I have. But other than that,
Rashford comes. Imagine though, Rashford comes to the Emirates and wins the league. Imagine that.
I think
that'd be some karma, wouldn't it?
Our third to last game of the season is at Old Trafford as well.
Yeah, I start watching football, I think.
Yeah, but you had to just fucking fall off, wouldn't it, if you're a United fan?
It might be worth it just for the one goal that he scores, which would be against Man United on that day.
At the Stretford end.
No, not him.
Pumps one in.
I'm not a fan. So, but yeah, we need a striker. Yeah. And that's pretty obvious. Scott, where did Chelsea address over Christmas and for the second half of the season? Is there a transfer a situation needed to address, or is there just more of the same head down?
Transfer Chelsea.
They've been known. They've got history.
There's two areas that I think we need to really, if we're now, as Luke wants me to admit, if we're now in the title hunt, if we wanted to win the league this year, for example, let's say we thought, fuck it, we're just going to go for it. I think a goalkeeper, a top level, and I'm not talking our typical transfer policy that we've had of late of buy and win the 12 and hope the good in 3 years.
Yeah,
I'm talking the finished article, the big, some big boy coming in, some big dick motherfucker. He'd be a goalkeeper, someone like, I'm not saying this example, but someone like an Oblak, or basically we seem almost eerily close to where Liverpool were when they were They were a Van Dijk and an Alisson away from winning a title, and that did it for them. We're somewhat in that region now. I think we've got a great potential future partnership with Colwill and Fofana, but Fofana was a bit iffy on the injuries, and Colwill is still only very young. So I think if money was, well, money isn't typically an object with Chelsea, but if it was blank checkbook and we could do whatever we wanted, I'd go out there and I'd find a top draw goalkeeper and a proper top class centre half, a proper world level centre half who can give a little bit of experience and just that calm presence. Because I think that's what we're lacking is when Robert Sanchez gets on the ball, and he had a great game last night, to be fair to him. When he gets on the ball, there's just a nervousness. And I think when with a calmer centre half in front of him, that might dissipate. Yeah. So I think those would be the areas I would strengthen if I was given the choice. But yeah, overall, I'll tell you what I would do, a rogue shout. I would bring in Paul Pogba. That is what I would love to see Chelsea do.
I would like to see him back in the Premier League, to be fair. Just for the story.
I would just be able to get the Pogba number 6 Chelsea shirt. I know you wouldn't be number 6 because that's Colwill, but just to get a Pogba Chelsea shirt that's legitimate. And I just think he was a top class player. Still is. And he just got let down by a club that just didn't really know who they were at the time. Don't get me wrong, there was some points he didn't cover himself in glory either, but he's one of those players for me. You just give him the keys, you build everything around him, or he was at one point, and you just let him do his magic. And I would just love to see a little him and Caicedo linking up in the midfield. I just think that'd be class. So just as a random shout, bring Pogba to the bridge.
He's a drug cheat, remember?
He's a drug cheat. Yeah, he's not anymore.
You've got an Anna.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. I'm not alleged it. Just you can read that on Wikipedia. Like, got banned.
My fix.
The answer to all life's questions.
I've got 2. I'm not going to go on United because there's too many to fix United. We'll be here all night.
I've got a list of 49.
First one is for Arsenal to score in open play.
Right, great shout. Quirky jibe, number 17 of the night.
And the second one is to get rid of this passing out from the back. Now Pep is on the downfall and it's not working anymore. All these Southamptons and all these can stop playing like this. We can stop playing like that. Stop passing it out from the back and then getting the keeper, then passing it back to the keeper, then passing it to the centre back. It's fucking annoying. Just stop it.
XG.
I agree.
We need the death of XG. Possession doesn't equal goals, as we are proving left right. We need someone who can just rocket it from fucking 50. I want Arsenal to sign Neymar. 33-year-old Neymar. Just someone who you cannot predict at any time.
Oh, yeah.
Get him.
Oh, that's it. Oh, God, yeah. If someone in the Premier League could bring Neymar back to the... Oh, my... I don't even care what club it's for.
Arteta would lose his mind.
I genuinely wouldn't care what...
control this guy.
I genuinely wouldn't care what club it was for. I love Neymar that much. He can play for a rival as long as I can see him just take the fucking piss and just prove that he is that guy, because I love Neymar. I've always thought he was one of the very unlucky, one of those in the extremely unlucky not to be a Ballon d'Or winner. Disagree.
I think, don't know if this is a wild show, it's a little bit off topic. I think Neymar may be the most talented footballer ever.
No.
Didn't have the career to go with it.
No.
I'm going off pure talent wise here. That's all.
Ronaldinho was the best.
Nah.
When you tell you what, Ronaldinho really, I looked up I can't remember. For some reason I was talking to somebody about Frank Lampard and Ronaldinho, like who would you rather have in your team? Naturally, I went allegiances to Lampard. And I was like, well, the goals from Lampard, that was my argument. And then I thought, I wonder how many goals did Ronaldinho get? And his goal return was disgraceful, as in like disgracefully good. It was a joke what Ronaldinho actually ended up doing. But I don't know if I agree with you on Neymar's career. I think he's done pretty fucking well, to be honest. I think he won pretty much everything there is to win. Well, Champions League or 2 with Barca, won loads of league titles. I think the only thing he was missing is probably a World Cup, which he probably should have had in the...
I feel like Neymar is a little bit... It's a little bit like Rooney, where you sort of feel a little bit shortchanged like there was more. And you look at Rooney's stats and they're unbelievable. Like he was the record scorer for England and he's the record goal scorer for Man United. Like just to say them things, a concept is unfathomable at the best of times. Especially like Man United's all-time top goal scorer. But then there's something about Rooney where you just think, is he not? He was never like up for a Ballon d'Or. He's never like considered the greatest player in the world. He obviously been around with Messi and Ronaldo, but Rooney's career is unbelievable. So there's something about it's Neymar falls like with Rooney for me in that terms of talent where you just feel a little bit of something from the career. Anyway, I'm off topic. Any other? What about managers? Is there any managers we need? We're in the sacking month.
Well, fucking Pep's going to be on the block if he's not careful. 1 win in 11. That's like Steffo sacking for him if he's not careful.
We've seen Russell Martin and Gary O'Neill go this weekend. I think Sean Dyche has managed to. He's probably bought himself another couple of weeks by drawing 0-0 against Arsenal and not having a shot on at goal, but. I think Sean Dyche will just do enough to see Everton through to the new stadium, and I think that's his job in it.
Yeah. I think he's one of them. It's like, what would you do? Like, if you're in a relegation battle and you've already got Sean Dyche, like, what's the point? That is the best phone call you can make anyway, isn't it? So you may as well just...
The only caveat to that is while I actually hope Everton stay with him because he's that safe pair of hands that they probably need. Their takeover's been approved, so that's going to be happening in the next week or so. With is it the Leadkin group or something along them lines? And
fucking first game under the new ownerships in Chelsea.
It will be. So there may be funds available for them to spend, and things might not fall all into place for Dyche. So he might be another one. Is anyone else?
Yeah, I'm just looking at the table now. Lopetegui's
Lopetegui's on borrowed time.
He was in El Sakiko the other week, weren't he? And West Ham pulled through.
I think I've just been playing actually. I've just seen there was 1-0 up and it's just flashed up. Bournemouth just scored.
Good.
Very good. Very good. Day recording. This will sound good tomorrow, Luke.
Who else? I think Newcastle. Eddie out. Well, the 12th now. If they keep dropping, I think I can't see them lot. Because they want to be in Champions League, don't they?
They just need. Do you think they just need a bit more creative spending, and they just need to bring people in or something like that? Do you think? Go on.
I think what Newcastle need to do is get fucking real about who they are and what they are and where they are. This whole like Eddie Howe, he's 12, and that's kind of where Newcastle should be. Because I don't know if anybody's noticed, but they're pretty shit. They ain't got that many good players. They have. I would say, 2 players who might walk into bigger clubs. You got Isak and you've probably got Guimaraes. And you might give
Gordon.
City are really hot on Guimaraes. So that might be a thing that happens in January. And
which they also...
Isak will be
but they were looking at Paquetá as well before that, weren't they? So he wasn't even top choice for them. But yeah, Anthony Gordon might do. But again... Looking around at the big boys, would he get into... He might be a shape for Arsenal. You need that left side looking at. But
maybe. Is there... Maybe. Right, there's no one else that stands out to anyone. Is there players who you think need to do something for themselves, maybe get that move? Is there... We spoke about Rashford and Garnacho. Is there anyone else who you see out there who you think their time is up to be better served elsewhere, or they're due a move or something like that?
Tyler Dibbling, get off that sinking shit as fast as you possibly can.
Run.
Yeah. Because he is, God bless him, he is fucking brilliant. And he must look around at all of his teammates and go, what am I doing here?
He plays like this Premier League isn't that hard. Why are you all struggling so much?
Yeah, like what is going on? Like this is light work. I mean, there's a reason why he was on our books for a very short period of time. And well, we signed him from Southampton, I think about 18 months ago, and he was like part of this whole like youth-led project. And then it was a really weird one. He was only with us for about 4 or 5 months, and it was like a mad thing where he was either like super homesick and didn't feel like it was the right. It was almost like a. You still got your receipt, you can return him kind of thing.
Mhm.
Because there was a bit of like buyer's remorse. It wasn't even like we're getting rid of him because he's not good enough. It was like actually this hasn't worked out personally for him. We're just going to do the right thing and let you out your contract and you can go back to where you are. So I don't know what happened there, but
that'll happen at academy level as well with, with people being uprooted at 16, 17 and stuff like that. So
yeah, probably happens more than you hear about, doesn't it? But I think it might have just been a particularly high profile because it was us at the time. But he's one I think if someone could get a fucking steal in January for an attacker, or if they go down, you might get clubs waiting until they get relegated and need a bit of cash, but he'll be gone before long.
Luke, any fixes you'd like to address?
No, I think we covered it. Spurs, Big Ange.
Oh no, leave them as they are. They're perfect. Spurs are perfectly chaotic, hilarious, sad excuse of a club with idiot fans and idiot fanboys.
I hope we win this week.
So what is that? Oh, is that the Carabao Cup?
Yeah.
Where is that?
Oh, is it at Spurs?
I'm not 100% about that.
Spurs have then got Liverpool on Monday.
Interesting.
It's at Spurs.
Yeah, it's at Spurs.
See, you're going to get business end of the season starts, Boxing Day for me, when shit gets started a bit real, the FA Cup becomes involved. What's weird is the first round of Europe still won't be finished until mid-January, so that's all going to drag on for a little bit longer. Usually that's done now, isn't it? And we're ready for the next stages in like February, March time.
Yeah, because I think our last Conference League, the last group games, our last group games this week. I don't know if Europa League's the same. I assume it is. It's similar format, but one thing what I would like to get in there before we leave is if Chelsea win on Sunday at Goodison Park and Liverpool fail to win, Chelsea will top at Christmas, which I think is quite interesting.
Well, other teams have been at top at Christmas and see what happened to them.
Yeah, only one though. Only one team has ever been top at Christmas and failed.
Only one? That can't be right.
Well, only one several occasions.
I'm not buying these facts. We're meant to be an intellectual podcast here. Can't have these lies being spread.
Chelsea could be top at Christmas, which imagine if you'd said that at the start of the season. Chelsea will be top at Christmas. You'd think fucking.
I'm like, top of what?
The Twilight Zone. Yeah.
Top of Conference League. Yeah, I'll give you that.
On top of that as it happens.
Right. That's plenty fixing for 1 year. Lots to move forward with in the new year. Luke, have you got any goals for the new year, podcasting wise?
Podcasting wise?
Yeah. Maybe string two sentences together without bringing up Arsenal or Arteta.
Impossible.
They're
my favourite topic.
I think we should come up with a resolution for Liam. Like, no Ange fanboying anymore or something like that.
Celtic in his blood, though, isn't it? He can't help himself. I don't even think he realises he's doing it anymore.
What about Everett? Does Ian Everett see Christmas Day at Bolton Wanderers?
Who cares?
I think he will. Who cares? Savage. But yeah, I do. Well, he was calling for the Oxford boss to be brought in, wasn't he? No in tweet. Bring, I think. That was his exact words.
Bring him. Right. I'd like you all to think of some New Year's resolutions for the podcast, because we'll be talking about them when Scott's back. That includes you, Luke, Mr. Vacant.
I'll reflect
face
on my holiday.
What about ice baths?
What about them?
They seem to be the range. I'm sure some of us was doing it at one point.
Would you like 15% off from Lumi Therapy? Just go in and type in the code MLN the DJ and you can get yourself 15% off. Get delivery just in time for Christmas, Luke. # paid promotion.
No thanks.
Yeah, because you're weak. Your futile, brittle bones couldn't deal with a bit of hard work. Anyway, ice baths are great. Listen, It's been fun, and we will see you all in 2025. Stay tuned next week, for the big fat Christmas quiz brought to you in association with Ice Baths by me. Thanks everyone. All the information will be at www.fixingfootballpodcast.com, and we will see you in 2025. All the best. Scott, have a safe trip.
See you later.
Bye bye.
Will do.